Hey everybody, Joe Malone here, coming to you live on Dallas Trading Floor. Well, you know, another problem. I'm going to get TikTok started here. Having a little bit of an issue with my Wi-Fi. Seems like it's an issue every day. Um, just wanted to, you know, say a prayer for everybody in Afghanistan. I think, unfortunately, it's a true tragedy, and uh, I just hope that. I just hope that we can get through it. I just hope we can get through it because I think it's unforced error, and I wish that wasn't the case, but it is what it is, and it's very tragic, and I hope that every my prayers go out to everybody, possibly in harm's way, and I just hope that. This can be resolved. This problem. So, without further ado, I'd like to get into some of the slides here. Let me see if I can move this over here. All right. See if we can do that. And there. Okay. So, let's see. Need to bring up the slides. There we go. And okay. Well, the market is in a confirmed uptrend. Believe it or not, even though today is a down day on the market, I kind of want to show you. I'm seeing pretty much all red on my stocks. I did add some Perk and Elmer today, and it promptly went down. The only thing that I have really going up today is Palantir. It is going up, and ST Micro. Those are both in the black right now. Everything else is down. But I did enter a very interesting spread trade today. It's a bull call spread on it's a bull call spread on AMD, and so that's kind of interesting. I'm gonna oh okay, this is it was a somebody was I don't quite know how to use this on TikTok yet, the co-hosting feature, but it's a pretty cool idea. But anyways, I just kind of want to go through you with everything. Goldman is down, Trex is down, just about everything is down. Now, on a lighter note, I want to show you this bull call spread on AMD. And by the way, if you're interested in this spread, very easy to get it. We have it available on. We have it available, and after I go through it, I'll show you kind of how you can get on the list to see this bull call spread. It's an interesting one. Basically, AMD has been in sort of a run up here. It pulled back, and now it looks as if it bounced off that 21-day line. It looks like we're getting some strength here. That's why I went into this today. We have a relative strength of 85, so I'm fairly confident we're going to see a movement up, possibly as high as 120 in the next month or two. So this spread takes advantage of that. And basically, the way this spread works, to open the spread, it basically gives you a credit because remember this is a put spread, and one of the nice things about those put spreads is they put money into your account rather than the call. The put spreads put money into your account right away. Matter of fact, I should change that because it's not a bull call spread, it's a bull put spread. Let's just put that in there. Put spread. It's a bull put spread. So I made a little bit of a boo boo there on that, but you get the picture. To buy the October 15th 100 put, and when I bought this just a few minutes ago, the price on it $3.25. And of course, because it's for a contract, that's times 100. So we put out of our pocket $325, and then we simultaneously sold the 110 put at 790 for for um for $790 each. So this puts $465 in our pockets right away. There is a maximum risk on this of $535. So potentially you could lose on this, you could lose $70 on each of these deals. But I think considering the return, I think that's a pretty good bet here. The maximum return is about 86% over the period of time that the call is open, or at a break even of about 105. So pretty interesting. We have basically a probability if it just stays level about 57%. I kind of want to just show you the payout chart here for this spread. And of course, you can size this up. I did more than one spread, but the demonstration here is with one spread. So basically, as we are right here at about 108. If we just continue today, we will be up about $18 by the end of the day. And then if we just it just went straight across here, we would end up at the end with about $265. Now, if it just goes up a tad, up here at about 110, we're going to be making all the money on this one. So this gives you kind of the risk profile. The way it is, as you can see, as it moves up, it's going to get into this profit zone here. So very interesting. A very interesting spread here. Just kind of wanted to show you how to access this so you can see the full deck and everything. And I'm just going to see if I can do this. Okay. Oops. Let's see if I can. Uh, I'm gonna pull up another window here. Oops. Uh, Trying to pull up that window. Okay. I guess I am gonna have to close it from here. I don't know how I'm gonna. Yeah, it's not. Let me just see if I can give me that. Yeah. I'm gonna close that and just pull up another window here real quick. No, I don't want to do that either. I want to. Okay. Let me see if I can pull this up. Always having these issues. Um, all right, there we go. So here's what I'm going to give you take a look at sort of how it'll look on your screen if you go to Dallas Trading Floor. It's going to kind of look like this. There we go. If you go to www Dallas Trading Floor, you're going to kind of look at this, and then to get access to the spread, it's right here. This bull call spread on AMD. So very easy to access this. Just click on that. It's going to ask for the name and first and last name and email address, and then punch that, and you'll get access to the entire deck for that bull call spread. So kind of a neat thing. And by the way, if you're looking on TikTok, super easy to take a look at this bull call spread. I'm sorry, bull put spread. Excuse me, not bull call spread, bull put spread. All you have to do is jump on over to go to the profile. Go to my profile, click the link, and it'll bring up it'll bring up the setup for to get to that spread trade. So without further ado, thanks for holding it here. Appreciate it. And let's get to some of the questions. And the first question is, hey, could you look at CRM and RCII? Thank you. Absolutely. Absolutely can. Let's take a look at CRM first. Of course, this is Salesforce, and it's been it's been a good one. So let's going over here to Salesforce. There we go. And Salesforce gapped up today. Very nice earnings. Kind of like let's zoom in here a little bit. Um, if we can get a little bit of a better picture of it. Yeah, there we go. Okay, just zooming in. There we go. All right. So, okay. Yeah. And as you can see, and as you can see, we're at 269 here, gapped up. This little dotted line here. This is the buy point, and I've got it zoomed out here a little bit, so I'll just see it now. I'll just move out there a little bit so we can kind of see the price. But it's right below the resistance. That of course is the buy point. The buy point on this one. Let's just see if we can See if we can get that here. The buy point on the one's 270.92. That's right here, 270.92, the buy point. So it's right below that. So basically, right now, I mean, we definitely could buy that into the end of the day. It looks like there's some increasing volume, so it does look like earnings were pretty good for Salesforce. Let's kind of look at the checklist here. Um, for the checklist, we've got basically 7 out of 9, so that's pretty good. The only thing we're really lacking in, of course, is earnings per share and relative strength. So I think they probably had a pretty good number. Let's see if they've reported it yet. I don't think they have on my screen. It looks as if, yeah, in July there, we were up 23% in terms of sales and 9% and 3% in terms of profit. And then, of course, we did make this very nice move. So it is definitely buyable at this level. We can definitely buy CRM right now, and I think you'd be very pleased with it. They're interestingly enough, I've seen this in the last few days. I, I've seen I've seen stuff coming into the computer software enterprise area. Finally, we're starting to see reinvestment in this area. So this is a very interesting thing that's happening. We're starting to see reinvestment in the software enterprise. Now, for a long time, this has been very, very far down, but it seems as if we now have a rotation going on. And I want to kind of bring up this chart to kind of show you what's happening. We have been heavily in the oils and the commodity plays. They seem to be waning a little bit right now. Retail seems to still be doing good, but some of these plays in the computer software enterprise area and also in some of the chips have been particularly good. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to bring up I'm going to bring up the list basically of sort of the sectors of the economy. And so let's go down here to the computer software enterprise. That's going to be, I think, about 34. No, uh, where did I get that? No, I'm sorry. Let's see, 30 in the 30s here. I'm just trying to look here. Oil and gas. Okay, oil and gas has fallen a little bit from where it was. It was number at 4, now it's at 137. So let's see if we can find the finance investment management. That's doing well. Medical, internet. Let's kind of see. I want to take a look at where CRM is in this. Let's take a look. Hopefully it'll let me do it. Darn it. Doesn't want to let me do it. Okay, let's see if I can get CRM. Okay, there we go. So CRM is in computer software enterprise. That's group 34, and I believe if I can get 34, I'm looking around something. Oh, goodness, industry group. Yeah. Okay, there. All right. So let's pull on down to 34. There we go. All right. This is the group, and I want to show you this group because it's been very much improving. 6 months ago, this was 87. 3 months ago, this group was 128. Currently, it's 34. So this is a very good place to start looking for options here because we're moving the capital is moving once again back into here. In this group, we basically have let's see. See if I can't really see it. Oh goodness. So I'm just gonna move on here, unfortunately, because I'm having trouble with my systems here. Let's look at our RCII and Rent a Center. There we go. All right, bring up Rent a Center. Oh, no, let's go to Rent a Center. Go. Okay. No, we don't want to resume. Okay, there. Now, now I've got it going on. This also pulled up right to the. This is a cup with handle. It pulled up right to the buy point. It was rejected. It's bounced off the 10-day line, and it's looking like we're down a little bit in terms of the volume. We did Yesterday was the biggest day since the last base, which was right over here. So that would have been in the June timeframe. Would have been in the June timeframe. So here's the thing: what can we do with Rent-A-Center? Rent-A-Center looks very good. It's in the commercial leasing sector, which isn't bad, but this is a particularly good stock. 89% on the checklist. This one just keeps on moving higher. I think it's very, very good. Excellent ownership in terms of the number of funds that are in it. The sector is improving. Definitely, the sector is improving. It's 78, so we definitely could buy this. We want to be buying in the top six, in the top about 60% of the market. There's 197 different groups. This is 78, so it's not doing badly. This is we've got some resistance. Here's what I would recommend on RCII Rent-A-Center. I would wait on this one until we got to 64.79. So if we get to 64.79 on Rent-A-Center, it moves above that, then I definitely think you could buy it. Right now, it is viable, but I do think we want to see it come through that 64.79 area. We want to see it come through that because that will mean that it has gone beyond its will mean it's gone beyond its its level for. I'm just trying to adjust. There we go. Trying to adjust my camera once again. Sorry about this. There we go. All right, so that you can see it. So it's gone through that level. So not a bad area. So here's what I would do. CRM is viable right now, and it's in a good area. CRM is viable right now, and it is definitely a gap up. Now, here's the thing with gap ups. This was a gap up on very strong earnings for CRM. So definitely one of the things you want to kind of be careful at. What'll happen is when you get these gap ups, um, they move up very, very quickly, and then of course then there's some selling. So we really need to buy this as it moves above this this level here. We really want to see it move above about 270 before we buy it. Now currently it's at 268. So here's what I would do. I would do a buy stop limit order at about 270.90. Now I'm going to put an alert in here. So if it does move above that, then I know that I could possibly do a buy on this one. But I wouldn't buy this until it moves above this until it moves above this level, this 270 level. So that's kind of where I see CRM, and I think CRM is one of the better ones. Let's kind of look at uh, the options on it. I just want to check the options because that's going to show. Yeah, there's a lot of open interest. Very interesting. Okay. So we definitely have a lot of open interest at 270. Okay. So this is showing that there is a lot of people that are looking for this to move higher. So this might be a good place to get into CRM. It does look good. Let's look at the weekly chart. I just kind of want to take a look. Yeah. Yeah, we're moving to a higher high. This is a good entry for CRM. Definitely a good entry for CRM. We had nice earnings, up 23% in sales, up about 3% in profit. Not a total superstar, but this one is definitely viable. So of the two, I'd probably take CRM, and Rent-A-Center is also good, but it's not quite as strong in terms of its chart. But thank you very much for that. Thanks, Matt. Let's look at GIL. See what we got there. GIL. Gildan Activewear. Boy, this is a stock I don't know much about. That's for sure. I do like the fact that it's in the apparel clothing area, 59 out of 197. That's looking pretty good. I'm looking at the weekly chart here. We're in a buy zone with this, but do we want to buy it? Well, the sales increases were pretty excellent. It was up 225%, and it's up 169%, 169% over last year. So it's looking very good in terms of the profitability. The question is, why is this? The relative strength is 91. That's a very good number. Let's see kind of what is going on here. Checklist is excellent. Sector is excellent. Boy, this one, this one is a yeah. I mean, this is definitely bottom. Let's look at the daily chart to kind of look at the entry point here. Yeah, definitely. We've 38.14 is 38.14 is the buy point on this on a consolidation. It's not a great base, but it's not a bad base either. It's a consolidated base. It's pulling back a little bit to the 10-day line. The question is, how far extended off of the 10-day line is it? Can we buy it here? So let me see if I can, by putting my little cursor on there to see kind of how far above that 10-day line is. Wow, it's right on it. It's almost just less than a percent off of that 10-day line. It looks like it's going to bounce there. This is not a bad place for an entry. Yeah, this is not a bad place for an entry. We've got falling volume. That's good. That means a lot of people aren't willing to sell it. So it looks like, yeah, it's probably going to go higher. This is good support. This is good support on Glidden activewear. Manufacturers um, imprinted quality basic family apparel. Let's see if there's enough volume. I'm just kind of doing all the due diligence here to see if there's enough volume. Yeah, there's only one issue here, Matt, for this one, and this is something that I think is important. We're almost on the bubble. We want to see at least 500,000 shares trading hands. This is a relatively small stock. We're a little bit below that. You could possibly do this, so I wouldn't be too concerned about this. But typically, when we're buying a stock, we want it very liquid. And one of the things I'm looking for here is 500,000 shares a day or better. Now, it doesn't quite meet that criteria, but it checks a lot of the other boxes. For instance, the profitability, I'm liking this increasing profitability. That's very strong. I'm also liking the increasing sales. When you have increasing sales and increasing profitability, that is not a bad thing. We have a positive cash flow. This is not a growth company. That's what I like because they're making money. 55% of funds in it here. I kind of want to look to see what kind of funds that we have in here because I want to see. Well, there's Janus. Janison is in here at 1%, so that's not bad. That's not bad. This is a good stock. Here's the thing. I would definitely put this on a buy list. I wouldn't necessarily buy it. I just want to see if I want to get a stable. I want to put together maybe 10 really good stocks and then buy one of them. But this is definitely buyable. I want to make sure that I'm buying the best one that I can in the sector. Currently, this sector is the apparel clothing manufacturers. So let's see if we can. I want to look at this sector to see if Glidden is the leader. Because when you get the chance, you want to buy the best sectors you can, of course, but you also want to buy the leaders in the best sectors, and that's so key. So this is 59, I believe. Let's see. I'm pulling this up. Uh, let's see. No. Okay, this is a apparel. Hmm. Okay. Why am I not seeing this? Huh. Okay, apparel. Um let me just go back to Glidden to see kind of where it's at. See if it will let me see it. Glidden is 59. Okay. So 59. And I just want to look at this group again um, and see if I can find 59. I should be able to find it easily. 59. There. Nope. Why does it say electrical power? That's not right. Well, anyways, yeah, the stock is looking good, and it's definitely buyable. I definitely want to make sure though it's a leader in there, and for some reason I'm having trouble not seeing it properly. Thanks, Maresh. Let's get back to AMD. Now, I did do the spread trade on AMD today. It's a bull put spread, and it should benefit if AMD continues to move like it's been moving, and it's been moving it at least as of late, it's been moving very, very nicely. AMD has been. So let me go to the daily chart and kind of analyze this really, really quickly. This is where I made my spread trade buy today. It's right here as it touched the 10-day line. Basically, what's happening is it's consolidating touching that 10-day line and hopefully gonna move higher on that news. But, AMD broke out on this 95.44 for buy point. It moved above that. It moved all the way up to 122. Now I sold at 116. The only reason I sold at 116 was because I had a stop loss in there. I would have not probably have sold at 116, but what happened is it pulled way up and then boom, the next day it pulled down and adjusted. And now it's sort of adjusted. It's about 107. So this is where I entered the spread trade here. If I get strength here, if it moves above 110, I'll start buying the physical shares again. But right now, it's a good time to be in AMD. AMD is looking extremely strong. Fidelity Contrafund, JP Morgan Large Cap. It's got a 100% checklist. This is something that I think I think is really a good opportunity because typically, you know, uh, for the last few months, really since about February of this year, there has been a movement out of a lot of the chip stocks. We're starting to see strength in the chips. I have 3 chip names right now. NVIDIA, of course, AMD, and I only have it with a spread. I want to start building physical shares in it. And I also have ST Micro. And this area is getting a lot of love. It's 21. This is the semiconductor fabless area, 21 out of 197. So definitely something that we want to take a look at. Here I'm kind of pull over to that and I want to show you sort of what are the top stocks in the group. Of course, NVIDIA is number 1, Broadcom, Qualcomm, these are all good stocks, and then AMD. So, and then way down here is ST Micro. I have 3 of these, but I think that, you might be able to substitute Broadcom as well. I want to take a look at Broadcom to sort of see. Broadcom is a little bit is right below the buy point, but it also is showing strength. This whole area is showing strength as well. But right now, I think that AMD is probably the strongest. Now, the one issue right now with AMD is it's above the buy point. So that's something you got to be kind of concerned about. And this is the reason I haven't bought in the physical shares. I'm doing spreads right now. Why? Because it's above this buy point. The buy point is 195.44 up to about 100. So that's the buy point. But it is sort of forming a little bit of a mini base. I call this a mini base here. We'll probably see a base on base. But so that's why I did the spread, and that's why I did not buy the actual physical shares. Instead, kind of for more safety, what I did is I bought the is I bought the bull put spread. I did that. I did not buy the shares just because this is not in the correct buy point right now. So here's the thing with AMD. If you have AMD, you definitely can add to it. It's going to be a little bit tough to start a new position in AMD just because, and it's really just because it's a little bit above its buy point. The top of the buy range for AMD is about 100, so it's about 95 to 100. That's the ideal place that you can buy on the prior base. Now, it is forming what looks like a base, but it is not completely formed yet. So that's the reason I'm doing the spread trade on this one and not buying the physical shares. Now, looking at this area, this is a very good area, the semiconductor fabless area. This is probably my number 1 area right now. NVIDIA, I don't believe is in a buy area either, but it's a little bit better. If you want to buy a stock that is set up correctly in this group, and I think this group is really good, the number 1 play right now is NVIDIA, and it's right above the buy range. So it's not nearly as extended as AMD. And say, Jim, what, what are you talking about extended here? This is crazy. Well, here's what happens. The ideal place to buy a stock is when it moves above a pivot point in what they call a base. NVIDIA has pulled above this cup with handle base. The buy point on NVIDIA is 208.75. 208.75, then up 5% above that is the buy range. Now, right now the stock has pulled back and it's right above the buy range. So today, if you're buying today, the best buy probably would be NVIDIA, but you want to look at AMD because it's definitely coming on. And the issue with AMD, and it's really not an issue, this is just stylistic, is that AMD made its move above the buy range and then it pulled up. and now it's consolidating once again. That's why I didn't buy the physical shares here. I did the put spread. It's just a safety thing, but it looks as if it's forming a base. You could buy here, but you've got to be careful because if you do buy here, you may get a pullback to the this 95.44 level. You may get it may happen. This is because AMD is a fairly volatile stock. So that's kind of my analysis of that. But let's look at ASO. ASO is the next. And these are both, by the way. There's even if you bought AMD at this point, I don't think it's a problem. But I would be a little bit careful with it. You might want to consider buying Nvidia instead. I know it's more expensive, but it's at the top of the buy range. It's not really past it like AMD is. Let's look at ASO. ASO is Academy Sports. This was an IPO, and it's been a very successful IPO. And I think it's definitely something that you want to look at. It's right below the buy point. The buy point on this one is 42.75. Now, if you were to buy this absolutely correctly, it's 42.75. So theoretically, right now, with Academy Sports ASO, you can buy this right now, and you would be in a very good way because relative strength on this is 97. The group for this is excellent. It's retail leisure products, 7 out of 197. So Matt, you have a real winner here with ASO. This would be a very good place to possibly put in possibly a full position, maybe a half position or full position. I do think that this is a very good candidate, right? Because it's looking very, very good in terms of its setup. That's the thing. It's also got a 100% checklist. ASO has a 100% checklist. So you're definitely onto something really, really good here. ASO is buyable right now at this level, 42.75. You could buy it right now, and you could buy the shares and not do a spread because we're right at the buy zone. So that's kind of my deal. Part of the reason I do so many of these spreads is because I want to be buying the physical shares at the absolute right buy point because I'm buying the shares. With the spreads, I have the ability to adjust a little bit more. And I also have the ability to leverage my position. So I'm looking more directionally there. So when I'm doing a spread, I like to do the bull put spreads. Why? Because that puts money in my pocket immediately. So that's the trade that I have today. That's the trade I that's the trade I have. That's the trade I have today. And I want to kind of show you this because we did get this great question on AMD, and I just kind of want to show you the spread the spread that I did. Now this is actually a bull put spread, so let's put that in there correctly. So basically, this is the trade that I made today, and the reason I made this trade, I did not buy the physical shares, is because AMD is everything is looking good on AMD. But one thing that I am a little concerned about, not really concerned about, I mean, I wouldn't call it concern. I call it more, I want to see, um, I kind of want to see, more conviction. But this is the trade that I did today. Basically, it's done by, this is called a bull put spread, and the way it's done, the way I'm doing it, is by buying that October 15th 100 put and the fill I got was at 325, then simultaneously selling a 110 put for 790. That gives us a net of 465. So this is the trade that I'm doing on AMD. Why am I doing this? Because I believe AMD is going to directionally move higher, and this is a directional trade. So here's what I'm doing. I'm putting $465 in my pocket, and then my maximum risk on this, I could possibly lose $535. But my break even is 105, and I definitely think it's going to hold this level. So that's one of the reasons I do a trade like that. This gives you the kind of the payout chart right here, right now. Even if we just went flat, you see I would end up making money by the end of the trade. So this is done for sort of a protection, protection. This is basically the AMD chart, just like we saw, and it's pulled back. It's going to bounce off that 10-day line. So that's looking very good, I think. And hopefully I'm right on this. I mean, you know, you're not always right. We did cover CRM, so I'm going to skip to the next one. KSS popped on earnings, so Let's see if we can look at KSS and get kind of an idea on that one. All right, KSS. It did Kohl's. Okay, we're definitely in a good area. 3 out of 197. Now, I do have a stock in this area. It's Macy's, and I was talking about that last night with a group, another group that I'm involved with. I have a I do think this for some reason this retail area has just been super. It's been great, and so I think looking at Kohl's is really good. Now, currently, we're right below that 6480 buy point. There is a 6480 buy point on this, but this possibly could be bought at this level because we have to see that it's definitely reversed. I wanted to put in a temporary line. Now, what I'm doing here is I'm drawing what they call a reversal line, and what I'm doing is I'm going with the top 6480, then I'm going with the intermediate high 57, and I'm drawing this line. You see, so what I'm going to do with this line is I'm drawing this line to see if the motion of this has reversed. It definitely has. It's definitely moving to the upside. We always want to buy when it's moving to the upside, and that's definitely the case here. I want to look at some other reasons for possibly buying or not. Everything is good on the checklist except for the relative strength, but the relative the it is a little bit lower than we would like it, but this retail sector is a very good place to be buying right now because I also want to look to see kind of who is in it. None of the big funds are in it, but we have 840 funds, and none of the ones that I follow. But we can look at some of the fund ownership in here, and it does. Yeah, we've got Vanguard in here, T Rowe. So these are all really, really top funds. So I would be very much inclined to possibly move into a position here. I think this is good, Nico. I think I would be very inclined to move into a position. We're definitely going to move higher. The real key, though, is can it move above 6480? If it can, then I think really, really we're going to put the pedal to the metal. Now there are some kind of things that I want to show you that are interesting, and why I think this probably will go higher. If you'll notice, after earnings came out, there was a spike up. A lot of people sold, okay, and then but the price it went up a little bit, but not really a lot. But then the volume dropped down here, and this is interesting. But all these days are above average volume, so that's a good sign. That's a good sign, but it doesn't look like it's dropping too much. So basically what I see happening here based on this volume is I see the people that are holding it, they're going to hold it longer. The funds look like they're going to hold it. So I think you're going to see a bounce off this. I think Coles is very good, at least in the near term future. In about a week or so, I think it probably will be moving higher. So this is a good one. Coles is definitely very, very good. Yeti. Yeti is a good one. There's people in my Discord group that own Yeti stuff. I'm yet to buy. I've heard though that like if you want to get the Cadillac of coolers, this is it. Yeti. Yeti. I haven't. I definitely would like to go fishing this year. I haven't been fishing in a long time. I love to go fishing. Um, and I think a Yeti cooler would really be a nice accessory to have. That's kind of just a sidebar there. So, how do I like this one? Well, it's in the leisure products group. This is not doing quite as well, even though this is, this is doing quite as well as some of the other ones, like the retailers. Academy Sports seems to be doing really well. Also, we have, Dick's Sporting Goods just lit it up on its earnings. It had great earnings. This is not as a good a group as I'd like, but it does have a nice relative strength at 92. Let's kind of look to see. It's got a 100% checklist. Boy, you can't beat that. That is so good. It's got a 100% checklist. The chart is looking good. Let's look at the weekly chart, kind of to see. Yeah, this is my only reservation about this one right now with Yeti. Unfortunately, with this one, with Yeti right now, it is above the buy point. The buy point on here on the consolidation base is at 80.89. So it's a second stage consolidation, so it's a little bit extended. Here's the thing, you know, This is the hardest part to do when you're trying to pick stocks. Not only do you want to write, not only do you want to buy the best stocks, but you want to buy the best stocks at the best time. And that's easier said than done. One of the ways that you can do that is by not buying extended. So here's my take on Yeti. Everything lines up with Yeti. It's a great stock. Unfortunately, it is extended. And so I want to wait to see if it'll perform a base. So here's what you do when you have a great stock that's extended. You put it on your watch list and you wait for it to form a more of a base because this is going to go higher. But right now, if you were to buy it here, it might pull back on you. So I'm not saying I'm not saying you can't buy it here, but but I'm saying this is not the optimal place to buy it. But I really appreciate that question. That's a good question, and it's a great stock. It's checking all the boxes, but I think you've got to be a little bit careful with it right now because it is in kind of a it's not really a no man's land, but it's sort of getting ready, but it's not ready. It's not ready yet. So it's kind of like it isn't quite cooked, and you got to kind of let it simmer a little bit longer. So Kathleen, thank you. Let's look at pins and pull that chart up. Okay, I'm first going to go to the weekly chart on pins and to kind of take a look at it, see kind of what's happening on pins. Now, here's the thing with Pinterest, and this has been a great stock for a lot of people, but I think you're just gonna have to wait a little bit longer on this one, even though it's in a great group, the Internet Content Group. This is well below its 200-day line. I don't like to buy stocks that are below their 200-day line. I just don't think it's the right thing to do. You see, what happened is we had earnings, they beat earnings, and guess what? They gapped down. That's really disappointing when that happens. And now it's starting to get a little bit of strength. It gapped down, and this is what they call a dead cat bounce. It it fell to the floor and it bounced a little bit, came a little bit down. Now it's starting to move up. But you know what? You don't want to buy this one. It's got a low relative strength at 25. And you're saying, Jim, well, gosh, I've heard all these great things about it. I use Pinterest. I really like it. All these things are true, but this is not a good chart position to buy the stock. Let's see if we can find something in the internet content group that we can buy because I don't want to just be negative. I don't want to be just Debbie Downer here. Just saying, hey, you can't buy this one, you can't buy that one. But Pinterest, you got to be a little bit careful on it. It's just, it's just not the it's just not where you want to be. So let's see if we can find one that's in the group, and this is group number 14. I'm just going to go up here. This is group number 14. This is the why does it say it's just the internet content? There we go. Group number 16. I apologize. This is the entire group. This is the group that Pinterest is in. But what we want to do is we want to narrow it down to the very best merchandise that we can buy in the very best group. This is a great group to buy in, but we don't necessarily want to buy Pinterest because it's not the leading stock. Let's look at the tops stocks in there. Well, interestingly enough, of course, everybody knows about Alphabet. Google is continuing to move higher, and I'm probably going to do another spread on this one. We have C Limited. These are all good. Facebook, Weibo. So really, here's the thing. Here's the thing with the internet content area. I think Katrina. I think maybe we ought to look at a different one besides Pinterest. I just don't think this is a good entry for it. I just don't. I don't think it's a good entry point, unfortunately. Great question on Apple. I actually hold Apple. Um, Apple has been having difficulty going through the resistance at 150, and I want to show you this chart. There we go. There's the Apple chart. Um, I want to show you the Apple chart here, and kind of what's going on. What's what's going on with Apple, and here's kind of what's going on with Apple. We definitely had this 137.07 buy point here. And as you can see, I did an early buy here. I did an early buy, and then we moved up through the buy zone, and then we kind of came to the top of the buy zone, and we're sort of we're sort of getting a little bit of resistance here. There is definitely resistance at the 150 level. There's no question. It's come up there twice, tested, and then pulled back. So it probably is going to bounce off this green line here. This is the 21-day line. It's tested the green line several times, once, twice, three times. So it's the trading range right now is between where this green line is, and let's see exactly where that is. The trading range is very, very tight right now for Apple. It's basically between about 147 and 150. It's right in there. So this is what they call wedging action, and it doesn't look good for Apple, I'm afraid to say. I think we're going to see it pull back possibly. This looks like it's not a failed breakout, but it's not a strong breakout. It broke out here, and then it's looked like it's gonna get some pullback here. So I do kind of expect, I at least based on this chart, I do kind of expect to see Apple pull back, and it's probably going to pull back below down to about 145. So I probably would not be a buyer in here, even though I own it and I love the stock. I just don't think it's going higher, and I may be adjusting my position on that. So let's look at DATS and DATS. And this is a company that I have no idea because it's an IPO. IPOs. Here's everybody. Here's the thing with IPOs. I'm looking at the daily chart here. This has only been out for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, basically 2 weeks. Now, I don't think this is a good place to buy this. Why? Because when it comes right out of the chute like this, it shoots way up and then it pulls back. And you can see it's in the process of doing that. It came out of the gate, it pulled up, and then it pulls back. So here's the thing. It's just not time for dat chat yet. I think you want to kind of put it on your calendar, take a look back maybe in the November timeframe to see. This one, I just think it'd probably be a good idea not to buy this one right now. Ah, this is interesting. BBW. Let's look at that. Build a Bear Workshop. This is interesting. The retail sector has been very strong. Yes, it did pull. It did had a very good earnings. It gapped up, but then it's pulled back. It still is kind of in a funk. So I don't know. I mean, it does seem like Build a Bear Workshop might be good, but I'm kind of drawing that reversal line. It's definitely above that reversal line, but it's getting some pressure there. 99 relative strength. So this has got a lot of, this is checking a lot of the boxes. 78 relative strength. Would I buy this right now? I would consider it, but let's just take a look to see if there's any better merchandise there. I always am liking to find if if I can find merchandise out there that is better. So I always look at hey where are the where are the really good opportunities. So let's look at, I think that's number 7 is the category. Yeah, it's number 7. So let's look at that. That's been a very hot area. This is the retail leisure products area. This is where Build a Bear Workshop BBW is in this sector. So let's look at this. Let's look at the stocks. The number one, and this is no surprise here, is a company called Pool. Pool, can you believe it? This is the number one. This is the best one in there. It's a very expensive stock. It's a pool maintenance company. It just prints money. Of course, we know about Dick's Sporting Goods. That's been a tremendous thing. But see, Build-A-Bear is way down here. So here's the thing. Instead of looking at Build-A-Bear, what I would do is I would look at ASO, which is Academy Sports and Outdoor. And we just talked about this one. This one is a better chart. This one is a better chart, Dinesh, because it's right at the buy point, 42.75. This one is better than Build-A-Bear. It also has a 100% checklist on this. So if we're looking at Build-A-Bear, look at ASO. It's in the same group, but it's a better stock, and it's got a better setup. So that's my advice on that. All right, let's take a quick gander over here at on TikTok. Thank you, everybody. Let's see. Okay, thoughts on Amazon. This is a good question because Amazon has been struggling as of late, which is amazing. I mean, I had an Amazon spread and I was totally wrong on it. I hate it when I hate it when that happens, but it does. It happens. Right now, we have a downward trend for Amazon. Can you believe that? I can't believe it because I think Amazon is great. It looks as if we got to bounce at the 200-day line. We typically don't want to buy stocks again that are below that 200-day line. That is that black line there. We don't want to do that. It's bounced right above that. This might, you know, you might consider say that, oh yeah, this is the beginning of the earliest place you can buy. I would not buy it at this level. I would wait until it shows some strength. I want to see it move above this red line here. That is the 40-day moving average. And so about 34.80 is where I want to see it move above. Above 34.80, I may be a buyer on this one. I say maybe because I'm looking at the relative strength. It's only a 35. I want to see an 80. It's got a nice checklist though, 78. So here's the thing. Here's the thing about Amazon. Right now is not a good time to buy Amazon. Now, if you're down more than 7% on your position, consider possibly selling part of it. You're probably not, but I don't think this is a good time to get into Amazon. It does look like it's reversed, but I want to see some more strength. So I probably would not be a Amazon buyer right now. Just wouldn't be one. Well, this is real. This is these are the hardest things. Will it rain tomorrow? This is a will Microsoft go down tomorrow? I can't tell you. I can only tell you what the charts are saying. But I believe, based on this chart, and let's take a look at it on the daily chart, we've been down 1, 2, 3, 4 days 3 days in a row. My guess is that Amazon is testing the 10-day line. And I think you're going to see a bounce. So my guess is I think it's gonna go up probably tomorrow or definitely on Monday. I think we're gonna see I think we're gonna see it move up. It may have one more day of down day, but I think it's probably gonna go up tomorrow. I think it is. And why? Well, the reason why is because there's this 10-day line. And why do I spend so much time on these index lines? Well, the reason I do is this. 70% of a lot of the stocks are traded by programmatic traders, and they trade off these lines. So that's why I kind of know that if we're going to see a bounce, we're going to see a bounce right there at that 10-day line. So we're right at 300. So I suspect that tomorrow, and let's see if we can zoom in on this a little bit. I suspect tomorrow we're likely to see it bounce off of this 10-day line. Now I'm zooming in a little bit here, so I'm trying to get it in as far as I can so everybody can kind of see this on the screen, kind of what I'm seeing. But you can see it's been hugging. This is the Microsoft chart. It's been hugging this pink line. This is the 10-day moving average. And you can see it what happens is it moves up and it moves up and then it moves back and then it gets support. So I believe, based on this chart, we're likely to see Microsoft get some support, and I think we're likely to get some support. If I can get this to work, um, it won't let me show it. Let me see if it. No, there we go. Okay, if we're likely to get support, we're likely to get it basically right at about one at about 297 is where I think we're going to see it probably probably reverse higher. That typically is the way it happens. So that is, I don't think Microsoft is likely to go down tomorrow. I think it's likely to bounce on the 10-day line. Currently, it's at 299, so it's right at 300. But I do think we're going to see some bounce there. I just do. I just do. Another great stock, Jay. Thank you for bringing this one up. Really like this one. This is CrowdStrike, and I really like CrowdStrike. I'm trying to figure out how to enter this one because here's the thing I found out about TriStock. I didn't know this about CRWD until yesterday, but this one has the end-to-end solution for the security. They've got they not only have it at the edge, but they've got they've kind of got the whole thing. And with this trend of people working at home, I think that this is likely to go higher. Now, unfortunately, right now, we are above that buy zone. There is a buy zone. I mean, there is a buy point on, the buy zone goes from 251 basically up to 272. Currently, we're at 278, so we're extended above the proper buy point. But I do see this very, very nice volume here. People are buying this. This is above average volume, and it looks good. Now, would I buy CrowdStrike? That's the question. No. And the reason I would not buy CrowdStrike is because we're only 5 days away from earnings. So here's what I recommend. Put an alert on your screen and look at CrowdStrike, but don't look at CrowdStrike for a few days. Let's go look at CrowdStrike when they announce earnings, which is going to be on the 31st of the 31st of August. So today is the 26th. So tomorrow is the 27th. That would be Friday, uh, 28th, 29th, 30th. So this is going to be Tuesday after the bell. CrowdStrike is going to announce earnings. I have a feeling they're going to be very good. I have a feeling they're going to be very good, but who knows? I would not buy it before it goes through earnings. So set your calendars. Take a look at this one on Tuesday because on Tuesday it's going to, right after the bell, it's going to have earnings, and there should be a lot of. This is a very widely held stock. There should be movement after hours. So very, very good question on that. Tesla 827. Okay, so the debit spread 3 to 1. Oh, that's excellent, excellent. Not a bad one. Let's look at the Tesla. Let's look at the Tesla chart for Mark here on the spread. And as you know, I do like spreads. Um, just because they can leverage, you can leverage a lot. Let's look at the daily chart to see if this sort of lines up with everything. This is a very nice credit spread. This is a $3.85 net credit. So this is a strong net credit. Here's what I'm seeing on this. In terms of the action, it looks as if we've pulled down to the 21-day line, and we're going to see if it moves above that. There's a very good likelihood that it will. Now, how long do you have on that? 827. Wow, it is pretty tight. You only have really to tomorrow on this one. Boy, this is just a little bit tight for me. I probably would have given it a little bit more time to work on this. I would have given a little time to work. But here's the thing on this one, Mark. If you get a positive on this one, if you're positive in the morning, I would consider closing this and taking the profit if you have the profit. It does look like it's probably going to reverse tomorrow, but I can't tell. I don't know if you're up or not on this one. Okay, make 115 tomorrow. Okay, that's not bad. Anything above about 85 cents, and you want to close that because you can definitely you want to take your profits quickly on this one because you've got so little time on those options. But very, very interesting. All right, let's look at Shoe Carnival. This is another area one I really like. And as you know, I've had spreads on this one, SCVL. And for some reason, I don't know why this is. Maybe it's back to school. I have no idea. But the shoes and the shoe sellers have been doing really well. Now, this did have a cup with handle, and there was a buy point on this at 37.29. Currently, it's 37.49, so it's right above that buy point. It looks as if it probably is going to get some support there and move higher. There were excellent earnings on this. I guess let's see. I want to see exactly when those earnings were. Okay, yeah, they went through earnings. They were excellent earnings. Okay, it's got a blue dot. Okay, this is gonna move tomorrow. This is definitely gonna move tomorrow. I want to take a look at the 30-minute chart here. Yeah, this is going to move tomorrow. Yeah, definitely. Okay, I do think that we're going to see probably a nice bounce on this one. That's a good catch. That we're probably going to see a good catch. We're going to probably see a good movement on this one tomorrow. Uh, let's take a look. Okay, so the June. So sales were up 10%, profits were up 340%. Yeah, this is gonna move, especially on a retail, especially on retail. So I think you're gonna probably see a bounce on this one tomorrow. Shoe Carnival, CV, uh, um, C SCVL, excuse me, Shoe Carnival. I definitely think we're gonna see movement on that. So really, really good. Okay, this is interesting. Thanks, Kayleen. Good afternoon. What do you think of GDLC? All right, let's look. GDLC. Let's take a look. Grayscale large cap digital. This is interesting. I like the Grayscale funds, by the way. GBTC, of course, is the fund that covers Bitcoin. It's probably the most famous one. They hold 4% of Bitcoin. This is a relatively new fund. It looks pretty darn good. This is really not an IPO because it's a fund. It's an ETF, but it definitely this is not a bad looking chart. This is what they call an IPO base. Yeah, it shows here as a consolidation base, 46 at 55. Yeah, this one's looking very, very strong. Unfortunately, I wouldn't buy it right now. It's extended. The correct buy point on this one would have been $46. Now, how do you know this? Well, I have special software that basically does a lot of these calculations for me. I used to do these by hand, by the way. I used to do these calculations by hand, and so I could only take about 2 or 3 stocks in a day because it took me all this time to do these calculations. I this The software that I have, and it's called MarketSmith. It's very good software. Does a lot of these calculations, so it's tremendous time saver for me. Now, would I buy Grayscale Digital large cap? Well, I would probably hold off on its 56 checklist, even though it is an ETF. I probably would hold off on it. I do like it though. I would watch this one. I would keep an eye on this one. I do think if it pulls back a little bit to 46, you want to buy it kind of as close to 46 as you can. But I definitely think that this one probably is going to pull back a little bit and test at about 46. If it does, that's where you want to buy it. You want to buy it as it's pulled back down to 46, and then it tests there. That's kind of where you want to buy it. That would be a very good place. Tim is asking about TSM. Of course, that's Taiwan Semi, TSM. And the problem with Taiwan Semi that I see, it's not the company. They're doing everything right. The problem I see with Taiwan Semi, quite frankly, is political. I think that China is making moves that they may invade Taiwan. Who knows if that's going to happen? I certainly don't. But I tell you, one of the things is I don't like the political risk. This is one of the reasons why Chinese stocks now, of course, TSM is not a Chinese stock; it's in Taiwan, but the Chinese stocks have been hammered because of the potential political risk. So I think you have to be very careful with TSM. I like the stock, but I don't know if I want to invest in it. And the reason I don't want to invest in it is because I'm afraid of expropriation. I really am. I'm afraid of it. But everything else is lining up. Now, one of the things I will say about TSM is they are quickly moving as much of their production to the U.S. as they can. They've got a fab right now in state of the art fab in Austin, and they're doing some awesome stuff there. Also, they're building out in Chandler, Arizona, next to the Intel fabs. So that's a good thing. But that said, I'm a little bit worried about the political risk. So, I always say, when you're buying, you buy on fundamentals, you buy on fundamentals and technicals, you sell on technicals. Well, in this case, I am like scared of the fundamentals for political reasons. I am scared of the fundamentals on this one for political reasons. But it is a great company. I'm not knocking the company at all, but it only has a 44 checklist. So here's the thing about TSM, even though it's a great company, it's pulled back to the 200-day line. I wouldn't be buyer here. I wouldn't be a buyer here, just because I think there's just too much risk. Well, thank you everybody. Thanks for watching. I will be back tomorrow, of course, at the same time, about 2:40. If you want to take a look at that spread that I put on, it's a bull put spread, not a bull call spread. I think the slide may be incorrect. I'm going to change that right after we go off the air. It's super easy to get onto it. All you have to do is go to www Dallas Trading Floor, and then let's see if I get that up there. Yeah, there we go. So just go to www Dallas Trading Floor, and when you bring that up, you will see you will see the place where this trade is. And by the way, if you're interested in the action trailers, which is a great thing, it's free. It's also there. So I'm going to kind of give you, it's going to take a quick look at sort of how that screen looks. And when you go to www Dallas Trading Floor, it's going to look kind of like this. So for the free action trade alerts, just fill in this way: first name, first and last name, and then an SMS, and then a email address. Hit the subscribe button. Also, we have this great bull put spread. It's actually a bull put spread, not a bull call spread. So and you just fill out your first and last name there, and it's going to be changed. It's actually a bull. We I didn't change everything correctly. It's a bull put spread, but it's a great trade, and we just entered it right before the show, and great thing to happen there. Well, until tomorrow, and I think I one last question. Thank you very much. Thank you for everyone watching. And, unfortunately, I didn't get to everybody. I could do this for hours and hours, but thank you so much. I'm going to be back at 2:30. Try to get in a little bit early on the questions because I tend to take them from the top. Maybe and we'll try to get through as many questions as we possibly can. Thanks again, everybody, and be safe and and pray for the people that are in Afghanistan. I think it's a horrible thing, and I just think that sometimes the power of prayer is a good thing. So until tomorrow, happy trading and stay safe, everyone. And I will see you back here tomorrow.